I know what. Hurry up.
Okay. I mean, I had 10 people or 10 groups for my open house. Okay. So that was good. But as far as anybody being interested or having any showings besides one, since Friday,
Okay.
nothing.
What's the feedback?
The feedback that we had before we had it listed, but I mean, I think there's just some simple things that we could have done. Yeah, the 399. Well, no, he was okay with it. I thought that would be okay, but literally in the last, like, almost 3 days before, because I kept looking at constantly different things and everything was right on. And then there was one that was more updated that went in at like 398 and they got snatched up immediately. So then it's like 2 blocks away, so everybody's looking at that.
Yeah, I mean.
So. So it wasn't something that I could have.
Right, well, no, I mean, I kind of. Right.
Yes.
Actually, like now that it's range.
I like that ring though. I'll let you finish before I look and see what's going on there.
What?
I'm gonna see your ring now. Oh, it's so cute, fancy.
Well, I'm just saying, since you three are here today, we're picking a new time together.
Did
Everybody
you
else
hear
is
back
show.
from David or Taylor?
Taylor's doing some.
All right.
I'm like, what am I signing? There's a friend that you're already in.
You're right up under my bed.
You got bags and bags of
Oh, yeah, and it's under my bed, baby, because I'm a snacker.
I know.
Sometimes I get so busy, I forget to eat.
Oh, I know, I know.
And I gave myself a lunch break, but it's only 30 minutes.
Maybe you need to give yourself 45 then.
I haven't given myself 2. I need to eat.
You have your lunch, right?
Thank you.
California, I'm like ready to. Got it fixed, right?
Okay.
Or were you San Diego?
Did you guys all see that Keller
Did you all
Williams video
sign
for
this?
Megan yet? Yeah. Did you guys see the
Yeah.
Keller Williams
Yeah.
video for
Yeah.
Megan
Yeah.
yet? I mean, does it give you more?
Oh, stop, now I will play.
Okay.
I can tell, it's slightly different than how I do it.
Yeah, who knows?
Because how were they not?
I mean, how will you know?
One with my right hand, one with my left hand.
That's a good idea.
You're so
Kelly, I'll do
funny.
that too.
Okay.
How many do you need?
275.
200?
Oh, you should have. I know, I didn't even think of that. Oh, my goodness.
How many?
I
do you
got a couple more weeks.
how many do you have?
Oh, okay. I only need 3 more pages signed,
Oh, okay.
so it's not bad. You got this, girlfriend. Shoes are hers.
I know.
So cute. I got them on Facebook. If you want the link, I'll send them to you.
Oh my God.
I actually bought red ones instead of white and then black.
Are they comfortable?
Yeah.
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 The snazzy.
I'll be a
It's got my, like, I actually have those same ones. And I don't want to use a lot of this conquest.
All about the shoes. It's to get on the ballot. In the board of directors.
Yeah.
Just to get on the ballot.
Why is it $1,000?
Put in my nomination. When are they? It's usually
Well,
in October.
Not for like your flight and hotel. I know. I was like, oh, that's more than.
And it's like 2 blocks away from Disney World.
Disneyland.
I should put it on this ballot, just walkable.
Really? Yeah, I looked
To see where it was
located.
That was like a
Dang.
long, but that was a wait.
I don't even know.
expensive.
I feel like it was 3 months.
Any hotel around there?
Oh, probably.
It's gonna be psycho. Man.
So start saying it. I'm glad you're here though. Yay.
I'm going. I just decided.
Yeah. Did you already like?
No, I just, in my head, I'm going. Plan.
So we're
Plan to
waiting
go.
to hear where Jared is, because
Okay.
he had it on his calendar, like I called him and. it was 2 weeks ago, so.
So he physically is coming in here?
That's no, he was going to be here. He was like, okay, I'll be there at 1. So.
If he doesn't show up, what do you got for us, Kelly?
Yeah,
Song and dance.
Oh, throw up.
Yeah. Like if he's at the office and he's like,
Oh, I forgot.
we'll just get
Like
it.
one of our Ignite days.
On this sheet, prepared.
I know, I do want.
Yeah, I took a day off work to do this. I need my own check.
Chris is calling MLS. Doesn't have a direct number.
Thank you, little one.
Did I tell you what Denny does on Thursday? This child got me right
Before you left out.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, 2 stitches.
where did you do that?
He was running upstairs in my house, and parked it from his room to my room, and he ran into my room, and I don't know what he did, but he ate my teeth on the corner
Ethan, did you sign my ballot?
I did. Twice.
of my bedroom.
As you're walking out the door.
I'm like, I literally.
This is
paid
being
for
recorded.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That was
Like-
sarcastic.
come on, man. Just, it's like I wasn't looking at, I was looking at him as he came into the room.
Right.
but I didn't see.
That was
I was like,
That's at a spot where that's gonna
Yeah.
gush.
gosh, so I'm like, what do I grab first? Oh, wait, well, that makes sense. So that went straight to the garbage. Like, yeah, every reason I
Take
think
care of your baby, didn't matter what you grab.
and it's like, I was like, oh, that's her. I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, I was hurt inside. But I'm like, know, I'm like, far here.
Reggie called.
Yeah,
Reggie was calling.
okay.
We might be doing a mastermind and winging it if he doesn't show up.
We can always do an MLS overview. I mean, you know,
I don't even. Well, because I just had to change.
I know, I guess that. I hate it so much.
Like, break my- Going in a bubble.
The other thing, I can't.
I'm saying breaking
on
my
laptop. I can't teach you the RPR.
Oh, really?
Can I sit with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Serious? Give me a cluster.
You left on Friday?
It's not here, Reggie.
No, I left at Friday.
So we're just waiting.
Forgetting what day it is.
In their defense, I thought today was Thursday, so.
Kelly, did you know exactly what it is he's going over?
No. It's MLS stuff. So while we're waiting for him, if he's coming. So just so you can see on MLS, when you go to mlswis.com or Metro MLS, he'll be here in 15 minutes. He's just running late. So I'll just go over some things really quick.
That's not our MLS page?
Yeah, so this is just the MLS WIS, like where you go to log in. So when you would log in, you go to Flex MLS here. But I just wanted to show you some things that they do have. Here is, here's your support. So if you have suggestions or anything, you can send suggestions.
Oh, good.
They do have all the rules in here as well. So you can go to here and do rules and regulations and take a look at, like, what am I gonna get fined for? Sorry.
A couple that we're gonna have some big fines.
So yeah, so there's all the rules here. I would recommend at least scanning through the rules. If you go to the rules and open the PDF, you can hit Command or Control F and find things by words. But also, let me just log in. There is learning videos as well. They have a class schedule, they have online classes, and you can schedule an office visit. They also have a video library, so if you ever want to know how to do something and video is the way you learn, definitely go here. I learn more by reading, so like doing that would be awful. Sitting through any videos is awful. So, so when you're in your MLS, there are, do you guys all have your MLS set up for how you like it, like with your data sheets, with your pictures? Do you have all that set up as well? Yes. Everyone's looking at me like they don't know what I'm talking about.
I have like what you helped set up, the
Okay.
picture, but as far as like my main screen, I feel like maybe I could make it a little more like.
So you can always do MLS or home for your main screen. And then what I usually do is I move these guys around. You can actually drag and drop them. So you can move like your hot sheet around, you can move your listings around. And if you go to your profile, you can actually, and I think this is our market center, so I don't think we can do that. So hold on, let me log out. And I'll go into mine. I just have to look up my password. Because they change it all the time.
Kelly, can you share the screen?
Oh,
To the
yeah.
Zoom?
Just start off.
Where's that?
I will, hold on one second. Let me just put my password in. Thanks for telling me it wasn't shared. Okay. A trick to MLS also is they make you change your password every 3 months. So I put in my standard password and then 001. And then 3 months later, 002. 3 months later, so you're not like always coming up with some new annoying password. Oh, look, I have to change my password.
So what number are you at now?
005.
Oh, I was expecting it in the hundreds.
Oh, let's do this. Not yet. I just actually changed the face of it, so that's why. When I changed my last name. Hopefully this works. Okay. Okay, so, so this is how mine looks when I have it on here. So let me just do screen share. Okay. Yeah, so this is my home. So I actually have it saved as home. I don't ever use the MLS, and you can change that in settings. I do have my search bar here because I actually like this search bar better than this up here. Because if you're looking at an address, if you put it in that bar, it'll show you little pop-outs. But if you put it in this bar here, it shows you all the data for that actual house. So you can see like, oh, it's been sold how many times and here's the price. So, you know, maybe I should, you know, you don't have to do the history of it and go through the back end that way. So
That's pretty cool.
that's how I do my searches.
So how do you get that on the screen?
Yeah, go back to that.
Okay, so when you go to here, you can click on home or MLS. And so you can click on home, and then when you're on home, you can actually move these little bars around. And you can move like this one, I'm gonna move it over here, I'm gonna move my contacts. I have my listings displayed down here if I have
How do you move
listings.
a bar? How are you doing that?
You just click on this upper part, kind of like where those 3 bars are, and then just hold and drag.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Got it. Yeah.
Yep. So you can also set up your hot sheets for all the counties and see, this is what Kim sends out every day.
Yeah.
So you can actually set this up for yourself and just look at it.
You could also do separate boxes, one for each county, because I have
Yes.
these by counties.
Yeah.
I think between you and I, we probably have a million tips, so we'll just do the best we can, because I don't think.
Yes,
it's gonna
he's
be-
coming in 15 minutes.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's
on
on his way.
text? Okay,
Yep.
cool. Because there is one thing I want to make sure you guys see as well.
Okay, so the other thing is, do you guys use the portal? Do you know what the
Where was
portal
that
is?
search bar? I still
I'm
haven't seen
not
it.
sure what that actually does. I use
Right.
it, but I don't know.
Oh, okay, that's a good
Do you
thing.
want to talk about it?
Go ahead.
Kelly,
Either way,
Yeah.
that search one that you used, we're gonna show us
Oh, it's right here under new search.
Okay, where is the new search?
So you're,
Are you under home or
Yeah.
MLS?
I do classic, that's okay, right?
No, but where do you find the,
Maybe we need both.
How do you
the
add?
search?
So go up by home.
Mine just has single family under it. How do I add?
Go to these little bars
Yeah.
and click on settings, and then you can search for everything.
Oh,
And it says
gotcha.
just
And then
like
just
select a different
Select
category.
all of it and hit save.
Create a new one. Or you
Select
can
all
just
of
move some. That'll tell you
Yeah.
how to do it.
All of them except I don't do commercial
Do you wanna
or
move something?
rental.
Okay.
That one, that search bar sheet right there. That new search where she just punched it right
You
in.
know what? That's a good question, because I don't know.
Yeah, that's where I was looking for.
You can go up to customize and add gadgets if you don't have it on there. So if you go to the right under home, there's customize
Yeah.
and then there's add gadgets.
Add gadgets. What's a gadget?
Those little things, those little boxes.
Oh. And menu. They think
So-
it's under here. Keep scrolling down. So here is that bar.
Change layout.
As well.
Tell it,
But-
how do you do the individual hot sheets?
That is a good question. So
Three
Yeah.
dots.
you go to the three dots and click on your custom
That new
hot
search-
sheet,
The new search thing, right? That's the-
and you could do just whichever county you wanted.
There's usually all of them.
She had-
Yeah, if you want to do just like Milwaukee County, you would just do it this way.
I used to go in my menu bar and it said hot sheet, I'll click on it, type it in the color.
Yeah, you can set it up, 'cause mine shows up automatically every day on my home screen. You know, that's gonna be a good Jerry question, because I think he might be better to step through it. Because you can set it on.
I do classic.
Oh.
I know, I have mine
Yeah, it is blue.
on here, and then.
So Kelly, do people
Oh,
actually?
I see, you know what it is?
What was that?
Do people
Oh,
actually?
here's the new search. Yeah,
Some people don't
how do
actually.
you actually? find
That's
out?
all I use.
That's legitimately all I use.
What, MLS for?
The MLS portal, yeah, it's super hands off. You set up a buyer after a buyer conversation on the portal, and you don't even have to search for properties for them. It just pops up into their email if they like it. they forward it to you.
So that's actually automatic search. You have to do what? You have to do it twice.
Right.
So if you set up your portal, so I'll just go to the portal real quick, if I can find it. So if you go into your menu and go down to portal preferences, you can actually set up your portal. And it brings up this little video, like which one are you using?
Okay.
So if you try the MLS Flex portal, it gives you the intro to the video you can watch there. What your portal name is, it has to be like what you're not ever gonna change, because I used to have mine as Kelly Sly. And when I changed my last name, it changed, like I had to like completely reset my portal and everybody lost portal access.
Oh.
So you set it up and then this is your portal URL, is myflexmls.
So the portal name should be.
Like
Our
your
name?
your name, or
Okay.
your business name, like if you have a team name, whatever
Okay.
you want it to be. This is what it's always going to be. So when it goes into, this is what it kind of looks like when it sends out when it sends out the automatic email.
Yeah.
People can actually go and log into, they get a portal invite.
You send them an invite when you set them up.
Yeah.
Yep, and then they can go in here and they can actually look at like what's in their portal. They can, let me see, actually, let me go to the contact management and I'll just show you when you have, she still has her portal open. So when you have your portal, you'll see in the contact details,
Yeah.
you'll have the portal here.
Mine are
So you can put yours on.
Do you send them the?
She probably
Invite?
doesn't
I
send.
do.
You do?
Okay.
Okay, so this is what they're looking at. So when you actually look at the portal, you can They just changed
Are you
where,
in someone's contact right now?
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, so this is in my friend Sarah's portal. So when they actually log in, they save it. So it's kind of like their own little search engine. So this is what it looks like for my clients, that she can actually look through the portal and she can look at these. She can actually favorite them. She can put notes in there of like why she hated them.
Just make sure they know that when they're doing the notes,
We don't see it.
that we, because otherwise, if they don't turn it off, you're gonna get an email for every single note they write.
Yeah. Well, you
Say
can
that
turn,
again.
you
Those
can turn
notes
it
are
off.
for them, so they see the little notepad,
Yes,
so they can go in
and make a note,
and make a note.
and then they're going
They
to
can save it.
save it, and then you're gonna get an email
I get notified when they.
when
send-
they make a note. So
You can turn that off in your portal.
I found that out after I got like 15 emails in like 10 minutes.
So you can turn that off.
What is going on? I have one client and I've used this portal since they started it. I've only had one client use it once.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually don't. Or what they'll do is they'll lock these listings. So like, I don't want to see this listing anymore because it's under contract.
Gotcha.
I also do set up my portal, so or my searches that I take out the active with offer just
Yes.
because it's a waste of time. They look at that, they don't see it has an offer, they get excited about it, and then you're like, have to explain that no one has an offer, it's not gonna be, kind of be a
Do
waste
you
of
know how to
time.
exclude?
Yes,
Okay.
but I was just told that if we set them up for a search as active and then delayed, they're not actually getting the delays.
They are getting the delays. They will not get the delays on third-party websites like Realtor.com, Zillow, but you have to set up your search for delays.
Correct,
Mhm.
in
They
MLS.
In MLS.
do Not go out.
I was
They-
just
I thought
told,
that- They
They do
don't, they
not
just
go out.
changed that? They had to have
They-
just changed it, because my people get delays.
Then they must have just changed it to getting them.
Okay,
see, there, this is
Well,
a
this
great
is a great
question.
question.
We have an expert coming, we will ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's find out.
because my people do, as long as you put it in the search,
Right,
you
right.
should be able, they should be getting it,
Yeah.
because they're like, I need to look at this, because they can see when it
Right,
starts
right,
showing.
Right. Or do a
So-
drive-by or whatever. it
Yeah.
is.
I believe they get, had my buyers tell me, it starts Friday, can I see it Friday or whatever?
Yeah, you just have to
Okay,
make
so
sure
you are
it's
getting-
actually selected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do have it.
Because I was told yesterday by someone here in this office that even though we picked that, they are not getting those delays.
I don't know.
Okay, that's
Well,
a Jared question, because
Alright.
my people always got delays.
Okay.
So, interesting.
Okay.
So then you can also, they can hide it. So this is where they can kind of go through and like look at their listings. It looks exactly like yours. They can see the detail. They can see the documents, I believe, still do come through some,
If you click it,
if you
you
click
gotta
it.
include them on the search.
Yes. Yep. So when you're setting up a search, don't forget to include documents. Otherwise, you're always sending the real estate condition report or the listing reports and stuff like that.
I have a dumb question. I'm not understanding what the difference is between the search and the
So the
portal.
search is an automatic email. The portal is actually an interface that they can go into at any time.
So
Kind of like they have their own little private,
I
MLS.
call it the
MLS
library
site.
of all the.
Mhm.
that it's only for them. It only shows whatever has been sent to them on the search, whatever matches the search criteria, and it's for them to, they can make notes like she's showing. So it's just just for that one client.
I think maybe with my clients, like I make them, all their searches, I make them like specific to them
Yeah, so the
anyway.
searches will automatically go out with new listings, but they won't show listings that have been on the market for a while. So the portal actually covers everything, so they're not just waiting for that email. That's what I used to tell my clients is that, hey, you don't have to wait to get a new listing email, just check the portal, because the emails go out at like 3 a.m. When a listing comes on the market at noon on Tuesday, that email doesn't go out until 3 a.m. on Wednesday.
It depends on what you pick, because some of the searches are more than once a day, but
Yes.
it's still not immediate. If they're in the portal, it's there right away as soon as it goes live.
Yeah.
Or
If you put ASAP, it's immediate. It's sent it as soon as.
And
Yeah.
also be careful with that though, because you have to ask your clients if they want ASAP, if they want the emails right away. Because a lot of people are like, I get too many freaking emails because like they get one
In the morning.
in the morning, one in the afternoon, like
One
as
at night.
soon, like 3 listings come on and they're getting bombarded with 3 or 10, you know, depending on how many listings come on. I mean, lately we haven't had that issue, but back when there's a lot of, so I always did daily and then just gave them access to the portal
Okay.
so that you can actually set up your portal. So to set up your portal, you will want to go to your portal preferences and just click through those screens and just set those up.
So you have to set up a search in the portal, and that's like a search.
No, you just set up a search and when you put your client to the search, you just select that you're sending them the portal email. So I'll just show you really quickly so you guys can kind of see it in action. So we're doing a search. I'm gonna do Delafield. I'll do, remember to hit active and delayed. And then I'm going to do municipality. I'll just do Delafield because I live there. Okay. And then I'm going to save my search. And I'm gonna name my search. So what I always did was name my search the area and then the customer name. And then I want to put it to a contact. So if I have a contact saved, I can actually create a new contact or put an existing contact. So I'm just gonna put a new one. And I'm gonna create a portal for this prospect. So I'm gonna click yes. I'm gonna click invite this customer to the portal. And then when it saves my search, I'm also going to email those listings now because it probably didn't go out. It'll just go out with the portal. So then when you send out your email, I'll go into my email real quick.
Wait, why are you doing it that way?
I'm going to show you what it looks like for the customer.
Oh, okay. It's like, wait, what?
Don't look at all my unread emails. Just so you know, I've been out of town. Okay. So I might have it filtered. Yeah, for some reason I did not get an email yet.
What? It's been slow today. It's taking a little longer for me.
Everything's been slow today. Tried to get into my KW this morning and it kicked me out and said that I didn't have a valid Keller Williams email. I'm like, well,
I don't know what is going on.
Yeah.
So I don't have an email.
Refresh? Can you refresh?
Yeah, I just did.
All those.
Calendar.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
you're like,
I'll show you my calendar. I'm not afraid. It's nuts, man.
Oh boy, I have to go.
Ba-boom!
Yay.
Okay. I don't know why MLS is not coming.
I know when I did try to send or open a portal for myself to be able to check it out what it is.
Did it
said
take a
that-
while?
No, it just didn't give me access. It says you can't because your emails are associated to the original MLS account.
No.
Maybe that's why it's not coming.
They probably set up with a different email.
Or it's in spam.
I was just gonna say check spam.
Oh, Kohl stores. I don't have Okay. So. You would think it would come through, but I don't know. Oops. There we go. So I can't show you what it looks like, but this is basically what they get when they see the portal. When you go to your portal preferences, I'll just show you real quick. Since we're kind of just killing time here until Jared gets here. You what?
I think he did.
Okay, tall skinny guy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Jared. So then you can put your listings in. Hey Jared, how are you? I'm just showing you can come on up here. I'm just showing them like the whole portal and why you should use a portal and how to, you can actually create a portal email that's what gets sent out when you actually send out your invite to portal. This is what it looks like when you send it. You can create your different news feeds for people in your portal, different subscription settings, listing content options. So this is where you would want to click documents so that they can actually see the documents.
This is in portal settings.
Yep. And that's it. Do you need your computer set up or do you
I
want,
can use yours if you want, or
Okay.
use mine, or,
did you want to sign in under you?
yeah.
Okay, I'll log out. So Jared is here. Jared has been with.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Sorry to make you rush. But Jared has been with MLS since 2012.
Not that far back. It'll be 8 years in October.
That's it. I feel like you've been there as long as I've been licensed.
8 years.
Okay, well, I've known Jared forever. And what is your title now? What did you start at and what is your title?
Well, my title is Director of Membership Engagement.
So he's gonna show you how to do all this. And there you go.
So how much time do we have, Kelly? And
Until 3. Yep, until 3. And then we also have, it's on Zoom as well, so, and we're screen sharing so that they can see. And if you need to, the Zoom's down there in case there's like a chat or something.
You just need to share the screen again.
Oh. Go to the Zoom. Oh yeah, click that number. Go to Zoom down there and then share. I'll click on it. Click on that one, sorry. I'll just do
you
it.
drive.
Where is that little bar now?
Go back on Tyler.
Is it sharing, Tyler?
It's just giving me
Sarah will fix it.
Sarah's coming. Somebody will figure
I'm just closing that. There we go.
All right.
Thank you.
So is everyone here relatively new?
No.
22 years, yeah.
Okay. We'll still teach you something today.
Damn, that's brand new.
There's still a lot of new stuff, so it's all good.
All right. So a couple of things that we're really focused on today really is the quick search, even though you guys have been using it for a while now. There are a lot of features built into it that a lot of agents aren't utilizing. Then you go and show them, that feature and they're like, is that new? And chances are it's something that's been there forever. So we're gonna go through some of those things to kind of help you guys along. As we have questions along the way, feel free to just shout them out. I'm really not one to sit and look for hands up. And if there's a topic you want covered, make sure you let me know that as well. So the first thing we're gonna do is look at that quick search option. So you'll notice that my default here, as far as my search template goes, went to my Teams template. The system's gonna remember what the last template you used was. So keep in mind that if you are searching for like vacant land, something like that, and then you leave and come back in, it's gonna bring up that last template for you. So if you're in, if you used vacant land last time, and then all of a sudden you go back in and you wanna find, single family with bedrooms and bathrooms, you're not gonna be able to find those features obviously in vacant land. So we always wanna make sure that we're selecting the proper template for what we're looking for. And you can create these customized templates, which we will go through and do later on as well. So how many of you were used to using full search, and those are your primary search? Okay. The one thing that I find that kind of helps people get over that, because I know we still have some agents that are having some issues with it, is the fact that all of these fields right now are collapsed. I don't like to look at it that way. I've been in the business now for almost 20 years, and I've used Flex most of that time period. So I like having everything open like was in the full search, so like that. And actually there is a setting that you could turn on that actually will have all those open for you. So I'm gonna show you where that is. It's up to you whether or not you want to use it. I just personally find it a lot easier to look at than having all these collapsed fields. So what we're gonna do is go to menu, and we're gonna scroll down to preferences and general preferences. So right at the very top here, we have the default font size. And then right below that, we have enable location searching and expand all fields for quick searches. That's the one we're gonna turn on. We're just gonna check it and make it blue.
Wait, can we go back? What's enable location search? 'Cause mine is on. What does that do?
To be honest with you, I have no idea. There are some features that are on that just really honestly don't do anything. So once that's highlighted blue, we're gonna scroll down to the bottom and just click on save. So now that that is saved for us, we're just gonna go right back to quick search. You'll see that it is looking at that single family template, but now all of my fields are open here for us. So I just personally find that easier to look at. And if you were using full search, basically everything that's currently in this search column, those are going to be fields that were available in the main fields tab. Everything else is going to be available for you under this add a field to the search. And we'll get to kind of how that works later on. For the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can still select multiple property types, statuses, things like that. If you're a PC user, holding on your control key. If you're a Mac user, it's your command key, and it'll allow you to select those multiples. The one that gets kind of confusing, and I hate the way this is written, is contingent. Those are going to be our active with offer properties. And you may notice that sometimes if you put the check mark in the box beforehand, it'll give you that kind of spinning wheel of death where it'll just kind of not give you any results. The workaround for that is literally to avoid checking the box and just click on the with offer. And once I click on the with offer, it's going to automatically check it for me. That just seems to kind of avoid that spinning wheel of death for you guys. So right now it says contingent of with offer, which is fantastic grammar. And so basically it's just giving us those properties that are currently active with offer. So if I want to make it so I only see those properties that are active that do not currently have that flag, I'm going to click the of and change it to even better grammar, contingent not of with offer. And at that point, it's going to swap those around and only give me those properties that do not have that contingent flag. Before I would turn those off in any of the searches for my customers, I would definitely have that conversation with them saying, do you want to receive properties still that have offers on them? Because otherwise they may come across a property on a third-party website, call you up not too happy because they didn't know about a property, and it could be because of that active with offer. So just kind of keep that in mind. One of the nice features that they kind of updated on this is I don't have to select a county now if I don't want to. So as long as the municipality is, has a unique name to it, like New Berlin, things like that, I can just start typing New Berlin and select it for my dropdown.
I have a question. I tried to type in some communities yesterday that didn't auto-populate, like Michigan.
And I was like, why isn't that?
Is that a postal municipality or is that a taxi municipality?
I don't know. I'm wondering why. it
Yes,
didn't
it's
show
probably
up.
postal.
So I just did a box then, instead.
Yeah, so not getting any results there. My guess is that it's gonna be a postal municipality,
Okay,
which we'll take a look at in a second.
okay.
So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and select the county, and then if I select the county, at that point, it's going to actually narrow down my municipalities for me. So if I hit my see all, at that point, it's just gonna give me those properties in the counties that I've selected. So I can either just type in what I'm looking for directly, or I can narrow it down still by selecting the county and then municipality.
I got a question. So if you do the proper grammar, not of with offer?
Yes,
Okay. In their portal, can they still see the yellow circle and the red C that it now has an accepted offer, or do they never see it?
I'm trying to remember how the portal, I believe the portal still will show those active with offers, I believe. No, I would say I'm 98% sure that they do. Okay, so we're gonna scroll down. I mean, the rest of this you're kind of used to looking at. The one thing I think is important too for people that that don't necessarily pay attention to this is when you're going back and looking at like listing dates and things like that. Anytime you see these double arrows, if I click on those double arrows, it's gonna toggle for me between an actual date range, or if I only want to look back at the last, week or however many days, I can type in how many days I want to go back. I find these really useful when I'm doing like CMAs. So if I go up here under our statuses, I can go back and look at just our sold dates for, let's say I only care about the last 45 days. I can really narrow it down that way. And the nice thing too is if I do the last 45 days and then I save this as a CMA, when I go back to run my CMA, it's going to update by saying, okay, we're only looking at the last 45 days of that sold data. So you don't have to go and like really look for those new comps. If it matches, it's gonna bring those in for you.
So we picked active from the very beginning, right?
I haven't really.
Oh, we haven't picked one out.
No, I'm just kind of going through it, just demonstrating what the different things do. We're actually not doing a search itself. So on the bottom here, we do have this add a field to the search. What I like about this is you may not necessarily know where to find what you're looking for, but if you start typing out what you're looking for, it's going to narrow it down for you. So I always use the term water feature. So I'm going to go ahead and select in here. If I click in here without typing anything, it's going to give me every field available for me to search on. So I could go through and kind of scroll. It's kind of cumbersome. But let's say I want to look at just those water features. I'm just going to go ahead and type in the word water, and it's going to narrow down every field that has the word water for me. So if I wanted to add just this view of water, I can just click right on top of that, and it's going to add it to my field, my search criteria here for me. Well, let's say I wanted to add this entire water features options here for me. Anytime I have this green plus sign next to the actual subcategory name, I can just go ahead and click on that green plus sign, and it's going to add every field that's located underneath that section for me. So it really allows me to kind of pull in those pieces instead of having to kind of do them one by one.
It's going to stay permanently now?
Not yet. So right now we're adding these fields to our existing single family template, but we actually can go in and save this template for later use. So if you are an agent that kind of specializes, whether it's water conditions or accessibility, things like that, you really can customize these to have those fields automatically there for you that you can easily just go and fill it. So let's say there's some fields in here I don't want to be able to search on. I don't need to be able to search on state. Upper right hand corner of the field, I can just use the little X, and it's going to remove that for me. So I can go through and remove as many of these as I wanted to. I can go through and add as many of them as I wanted to. Once I'm happy with my template, I can either go ahead and do my search, but if I did want to save this for later use, all I have to do is go up to save, and it gives me the option, save search or save quick search template. So the save search is just, I put in my criteria, I want to save that criteria for one of my customers. Save search template is actually saving this criteria for later use. You'll notice too that our single family template here has 01. And if I actually go ahead and look at all of our drop downs here, anyone that has a number in front of it, those are going to be inherited templates that us as the MLS have created for you. So anything below that, it's just going to go straight alphabetized. Let's say I do have a search template that I use a lot, but I want it towards the top. When I go ahead and name my search template, if I just put a little pound sign before I give it a name, it's going to put that pound sign ahead of everything else. So right now I've got a couple of pound signs, and it's actually ordering them pound sign and then what the alphabetical part is for the next sections. So you can see KW test, KW water, so it alphabetizes those based upon whatever is going to follow. So let's just go ahead and just save this. We're going to save our quick search template. Am I adding a new template or am I replacing an existing template? We're going to do a new one. So we're going to say Williams, New Berlin. Got to save. So then we've clicked on save. You see it says saving here at the top.
Just a little slow today.
It's going to say, when was the last time you cleared your cache, Kelly?
I'm not the tech trainer.
10 a.m. this morning.
Sarah.
Okay. I don't know why it's not going. But once it saves, you'll get a little green pop-up box that just says that the template has been saved. And then when you go back in to look at your drop down from your templates, you'll find it there.
For that search template, if you're looking for, let's say, like land in a single family house, what do you use for that?
So just keep in mind that when you're searching for multi-property types, that not all the fields are going to be available for you. So if you are searching a single family and that land, if bedrooms and bathrooms are important to you, and you search for both of those, you're not going to be able to find both of that information. So it's very kind of like a basic search at that point, just because everything's not available. I would actually recommend doing 2 different searches, to be honest with you, in order to be able to search for those bedrooms and bathrooms, things like that.
While we're waiting for that, if we're picking that we want all the actives and delayed, are our customers getting the delays?
Your customers are only getting the delays under 2 circumstances. One is that it's a, excuse me, that it is a manual email that you send to them.
Oh.
The second is if they have, they're set up on the portal,
Yeah.
and delays are part of their search criteria.
Okay.
At that point, they will see it in their portal, but they will not see it in their portal until it actually goes active in the system.
Oh,
No.
so they won't see it in delayed status.
Correct, until it goes active, unless they're looking at it in the portal or you're manually signing it.
Okay.
So in the portal, it will say delayed.
It will have the delayed flag on it,
Okay.
yes. Technically, that part's a glitch that we're not gonna report. Because it's not supposed to do that, but
Wait a minute, so now I'm confused. So are they seeing it in their portal that it's delayed?
yes,
Okay. Are they seeing it when I give them, when it automatically gets emailed to them?
not until it goes active.
They're not seeing it there, but they're seeing it if they look in their portal.
Correct.
And if you do a manual email.
And if I manually send it to
Right.
them.
Okay, our spinning wheel depth is still going, so I'm just gonna grab a new map here. So any questions on what we just covered so far?
So on the delayed.
Yeah.
There was a time that when we didn't have that on there, when it went new, unless you had status change, they didn't even get it then,
Correct.
but that's been corrected.
No, it still has to be a status change. because
Okay,
it-
so you need to put all status changes in,
Yeah, so
or they
what-
still won't get it when it goes from delayed to
Yeah,
active.
so what we're talking about. So I've got this subscription here. I basically could tell the system what constitutes wrong screen. So down here where it has what events define a listing as new for this search, status change is on by default.
Oh, it is right.
It should be on by default. And that's important because if you do have a property that gets sent to them through your subscription emails and that status change is not selected, they will not see those delays once they go active.
Right.
Because it literally is changing from delayed status to active status. Whereas when it comes to, let's say, active and active with offers is a subcategory of active. So that one, you know, is treated a little bit differently. But yeah, we want to make sure that this status change is selected for what constitutes new in order for them to get that when it goes out.
So can we go back to what, can you go backwards to, I want to, how did you get to that spot?
Yep, so what I did was I went to, so this was already one that I had set up.
Yeah.
So I went to contact management. I'm gonna select my contact. And then contact details,
Oh,
activity, searches / subscriptions. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on searches / subscriptions. So over here in the searches box, this is where I can go in and adjust my criteria, which is where we found that, that what constitutes new. If I actually wanted to go through and make changes to the frequency of the subscription, that's when I would go over here under subscription and click on the subscription itself, and that would allow me to change the frequency. So if I did want to make any changes, I just went to this KWP Grafton, clicked on my edit, did edit search. So from here, I could change any criteria that I wanted to, but I want to keep my criteria. I just want to make that change just to make sure that the status change is selected. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on my save like I normally would going through. And it's going to bring me back to that save search option.
oh,
I click on additional search options, and that's where my status change is going to be.
so we could click on open houses if we feel comfortable sending them.
Correct, yeah. So anytime, if you have open house selected, anytime someone actually has an open house scheduled and they put it inside of Flex MLS, your customer will get notification of that open house as far as date and time.
That's cool.
And you'll notice I don't have extension checked on here. Extension is another one of those things that does nothing. So even if you have it checked, it's literally not going to do anything.
So you have to go back to each contact and let's check mark the status change then, right?
It's default.
They should be defaulted. So unless you have a customer that you've been working with for a really long time.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is if we go to menu and we're gonna go back over to our preferences. So we briefly talked about general preferences where we found, you know, how to expand everything. Portal preferences also does include all of your subscriptions. So if we want to see if this is turned on, we can go to portal preferences. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this myself. And under default subscription settings, this is where I can make sure that the status change is selected. And since this is the default for everyone, as long as I go in here and make sure that this is checked, it's going to make sure it's on for every single one of my customers.
Everyone, okay.
So on the sold tab that's on, are the clients receiving the properties once they are sold?
Depends how you have it set up. So if I have, so again, this controls every one of my contacts. So if I have sold selected on here, it's gonna still show them all those sold properties to every single one of my saved
So
contacts.
it'll go from pending to sold if the person on the auto email, as I call it, will receive. I have somebody requesting that. They want to see a follow-up from active with offer
Yeah.
to close.
So instead of doing it here, because again, this is for every single one of your contacts.
Right.
If it's just one asking for it, contact management, select the contact,
And you put sold.
and then I just modified the search to include solds as well as your actives and pendings.
But then when it goes from pending to sold, they'll receive it.
Correct.
Okay, can you say that one more time?
Yep, so he wants to
Because
make
those
sure that one of his
preferences-
customers gets
Right,
sold.
right, and
Yeah.
so where do you find that in their contact management?
Yep, so we're gonna go back to contact management, search his subscriptions, and we're gonna click on the edit for the
Yeah.
selected search.
Okay.
Then we're gonna edit that search. And from there, I can go ahead and change my statuses to active, delayed, pending, sold, whatever I want them to be able to see. Yeah, just keep in mind, anything you change in your through your menu with your preferences, these are again system-wide for yourself.
I gotta put, so if you click that sold right there, you have to click sold date. What do you do with the dates on there? Otherwise you go back to the beginning of the year or a year ago.
Yeah, let's see if it gives us the option.
You can send them a list without the sold and then put it in there for future, but I don't know if it'll just start the ones that sold that day or the next day.
Yeah,
going
so
forward.
yeah, so basically once I have it selected sold, as soon as that match is made in the system, it's gonna send them those sold results. And then since that match has already been made, it's not gonna keep sending it. It'll send it to them repeatedly as part of like the chain, because we give them everything every time the email goes out until they click, like red. But if it just says, just like with actives, somebody matches with active, as soon as that match is made, it sends it out according to your subscription type frame. So it would be the same thing with sold. So if I were to put my sold information in now, and it matches your search criteria, and you have the next one going out at 4 o'clock tonight, at that point, they'll get that
So
sold.
date range is mandatory on there, right?
No,
No?
no, just because if I do just the sold, it's literally just looking for when that match is made when I'm doing the subscription. Any other questions? So there's a couple of features that are built in. Go ahead, make this smaller. That actually can kind of help you guys. I mean, how many times have you looked for properties in the Milwaukee area? There's a new neighborhood every like 30, 40 feet, it seems. And sometimes people are like, I want this neighborhood or I don't want this neighborhood. And it can get a little confusing, especially if the other agent hasn't gone in and put that information in for you to search on. The one excuse me, the one I really like as an example is Bayview. Bayview used to be a taxi municipality. So I used to be able to just go to taxi municipality, Bayview, great, I get all my results. But they're no longer a taxi municipality, they're only a postal municipality. So if I actually go to USPS.com and I do a search for that zip code, which is 53207, it shows I can either use Milwaukee or Bayview as my postal municipalities for that Bayview area. The problem with that becomes is, okay, what is the listing agent gonna list as that postal municipality? Right now, if you go to postal municipality of Bayview, does anybody want to guess how many listings you get? Zero, thank you. If we went and drew our shape around Bayview, and if you want to guess roughly how many listings we get?
70.
A little high.
0.
No, you already gave that answer and it was right the first time. No, if you use the mapping feature, you get about 35 results in Bayview. So we're gonna go through kind of how to do the different drawing shapes and save them as overlays. And that way you can reuse them over and over and over again. So it doesn't matter if they put it in as postal of Milwaukee or as Bayview, you're gonna get those results because it's physically looking at that location. So there's a couple of features in here that are really helpful. And it all depends on what area you're working in. So at the top here, we've got map, which is our regular map view. Satellite, which is turns into a satellite view. And the last one here is overlays. So I used this drop down here. Before they made a change, anything under my map overlays, these are ones that I created that I could reuse. These right now are just kind of there for show. I'll show you where you can actually use those other ones. But under MLS, these are, well, they're not necessarily usable as I can't put like Bayview on my map and then, click on it and add it to my search, but it's going to give me the outline of that area. So there's a couple that work really well. One is acres. So I clicked on acres And if I zoom down to a point, of course, it doesn't work. Doesn't work in all areas, but sometimes acres will be available for you on top of your map. Sorry, I work on North Avenue, and for the last year, they've had that street ripped up. So we've also breathing concrete.
Do you need a glass of water?
I'm okay.
There's water right there.
And I'll be all right. I'm just saying, if I start coughing, we've been handling street. The other ones I really like is the flood zone. So these are FEMA flood zone maps. So if I want to see actually like kind of where this relates to my subject property, I can actually click on this FEMA flood zone map from overlays. And it's going to put that flood zone right on top of my map for me. Thank you so much. And then the bottom right hand corner, once I click on that flood zone, it's going to give me this legend in the bottom right hand corner. And it shows me what those different colors represent as far as our flood zones go. I was working with an agent a couple of years ago. She was like, it says it's in a flood zone. I don't see how that's possible. So we went to the subject property. We actually used the flood zone map here, went to satellite view, and it crossed one tiny little corner of the back part of the lot. Nowhere near the house or any of the structures, but it crossed that little spot. So technically it was in a flood zone. But she was able to screenshot that and show people, okay, according to FEMA, yes, this is in a flood zone, but it's not going to affect any of the structures based upon, you know, what FEMA has put out there.
So can we like save this? How do you save this map to send it to someone? Like, let's drill down to a certain lot, and how do you take a picture of this and then send it to your customer?
Yeah, so all PCs should have built into them what's called a snipping tool. So if you actually do a search in your computer for a snipping tool, I have mine pinned to my bottom.
Okay.
I use my snipping tool, I don't even know how many times a day.
Okay.
I find that just kind of the best.
Okay.
But the ones that work really well as far as like the neighborhoods are either neighborhood maphonics or subdivision maphonics. And again, they kind of work differently in different areas depending upon what data is available. So we're gonna go ahead and click on the neighborhood maphonics. I'm gonna back out. Go over to the Milwaukee area. You can see right now, we're starting in the Milwaukee area. So I have all these different neighborhoods available for me. So we're actually gonna go down, since I love using the Bayview as my example. And as you scroll down, you'll notice that they start having the names of those different neighborhoods right on top of the maps here for us, so that we know exactly what we're looking at. We want to keep in mind too that when we're doing overlays to use later on, if I were to say, let's say I were to draw out Bayview and I were to draw out Polonia, and I were to save them as two separate files, I cannot use those two files at the same time. So if later on down the road, I wanted to use Bayview and Polonia, and they're two separate files, I'd have to redraw things. However, if I were to save them as one file, right now I've got one file that's Milwaukee area neighborhoods as about 120 different sources or overlays in it right now. I can select which pieces of those different file names I want and add as many of those pieces as I want to on there. The other nice thing is I don't have to go through and draw all these out. So let's say for right now, my customer's only interested in Bayview, Polonia, and Lincoln Village. I could draw those three out, save them, and then next time I need a different neighborhood, I could draw out that neighborhood and add it into that file and just kind of keep building that over time. So it's kind of nice that you don't have to, all and done kind of a thing.
So when you say draw it out, how are you doing that?
I'm glad you asked. So on the bottom of our toolbar here, we've got the hand, which basically allows us to click and hold and just drag our map around. The next is the green plus sign that allows us, if we have that selected, just to click on our map, and it's going to zoom down a level for us. We're going to get to the parcel information button in a second here. I also have a measuring tool. So if you're doing like broker price opinions, sometimes they'll ask you, okay, how far is this from, a specific school or something like that. This actually will allow you to measure like the streets, as you go along. And then we have our three shapes, which are going to allow us to actually define the spaces that we want to work in. So our first shape is the rectangle. Rectangle draws a rectangle. I'm gonna go ahead and select the rectangle. Anytime you're drawing a shape inside of Flex MLS, we're gonna click on our starting point, take our fingers off the mouse button, and then drag our shape out to where we want it to be. Probably hard to see on the screen, but you can kind of see a light blue rectangle on there. Then when I'm done drawing that shape out, I'm just gonna left click, turns that darker blue color, and it's just looking at this area that I drew out as my search area.
Oh, what if I just want Bayview?
Yep, we're getting there.
Okay.
We're working our way through the shapes.
Oh, I have a question. Sometimes I've tried to like draw the shape before, but like I needed to go like, I was like going left and I needed to go further out and how do you like stop so you can move your screen and keep drawing your shape?
So keep your mouse how it is, arrows on your keyboard.
Oh, okay.
It seems, after I say it, it seems so straightforward, but like, it's a very common question that we get, like, I ran out of map. Like, what do you mean you ran out of map? So yeah, the arrows will get you there.
Okay.
And you also notice that since I've drawn this rectangle in, on the left-hand side, it says shapes, and then it says rectangle. And if I hover over the rectangle, it's gonna highlight in yellow for me. That way, if I've got multiple shapes drawn on my map, it's gonna allow me to see, okay, this is the shape that it's referring to. Because let's say I drew all these shapes out and I'm like, you know what, I don't need this area. I can go ahead and to the left of the rectangle, there's the blue square, and then to the left of that, there's an X. If I click on the X, it's gonna get rid of that shape for me. The next shape we're gonna draw is the circle. But just like a rectangle drew a rectangle, circle's gonna draw a circle. So with the circle, we're gonna start at our center point. So it could be our subject property, whatever. Again, taking our finger off the mouse button, and then we're gonna drag it out. And we can see on the right-hand side of our circle here, how far out we've gone. So right now we know that it's a 5.19 mile radius that we've drawn out. Now the fun one. I'm being serious when I say it's the fun one.
Almost threw my computer trying to do the fun one.
It does take a little getting used to, I will give you that. So the next shape is polygon. It allows you to draw whatever free-form shape you want to. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. So when I'm drawing out the polygon, just like I was doing like the rectangle of the circle, I'm going to click on my starting point, take my finger off my mouse button. Drag it to my next spot, click, take my finger off the mouse button. I'm just gonna keep dragging my way around the screen. You'll notice as I do that, it's starting to kind of fill in that purple area, showing me what I'm covering. All right, quiz of the day. Hopefully everyone has seen at least some version of the movie Ghostbusters. What was the one rule with the proton packs?
Don't cross it. Progress.
Don't cross the streams. It's just start bringing candy to these things when people get right answers. Don't cross the streams, which probably was part of your frustration because it is so easy to cross these streams. And when I say don't cross the streams, I mean literally don't go over your own line at all. Because I'm going to double click to tell the system that I'm done. Because when you draw into the polygon shape, you have to double click since you're putting single dots all the way around. So everyone watch kind of the middle top part of my screen. Oh, I did cross my stream. Hang on. Let's try that again. So we don't worry about actually Bayview for the crossing the streams. But if I cross over even a little bit, and I tell the system that I'm done, this polygon has sides that intersect. It is not valid. Okay. Please try again. And this is probably the message you got that made you want to throw your computer. Yeah.
Click out, like just forget it. I gotta redo them.
It does get easier over time the more you draw. And obviously the more complicated the shape you draw, you know, the more intense it becomes. So we're gonna go ahead and draw these shapes out so we actually can go ahead and save them. I'm gonna screw up a little bit on the Bayview one because you actually can go in and edit these once they've been drawn. That's another thing that a lot of agents aren't aware of is they think that if they screw up their shape, they have to erase it and start over. you can actually go ahead and edit this shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and just click on my spaces here. And I'm just gonna keep clicking as I go along, taking my finger off the mouse button as I go. Obviously, I'm just doing this for demo purposes. So I'm not too worried about my accuracy on this. Let's just go to here so I can fix it. Again, when we're drawing the polygon shape, we're gonna double left click to tell the system that we're done drawing. So now I've got 35 properties actually in the Bayview area. But I did screw up this part down here. We went a little into Stableland Park, and we went a little bit into Tippecanoe. So we want to go ahead and adjust that. So to do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and left click directly into my shape. And I'm gonna get this little balloon that pops up. So at the very top, it just says polygon. I can click on edit. And then from here, it's gonna ask me, okay, do I want to rename it? The answer is yes, you definitely want to rename it, because if you're using these later on, polygon does not really help you determine what you need. So we're gonna go ahead and just call this Bayview. And if I wanted to, I could make this a different color. We'll make it green. So on the bottom here, we've got edit shape, remove, and save to map overlay. So right now, we're just gonna worry about the edit shape. If I click on edit shape, it puts these little orange dots all the way around my shape for me. So this is the only time when you're actually using your shapes that you're gonna click and hold. So I'm gonna go ahead and go down to one of my orange dots here. I'm gonna left click and hold and drag that up to where I need it to be.
That's cool. I like that one.
So once I'm done with my shape and I'm happy with it, on the very bottom right-hand corner, leave edit shape mode. And that's just gonna take us back to our screen with that adjustment made. And you'll notice under shape now, instead of just saying polygon, it says Bayview. Because we actually did give it a name. So I'm gonna go ahead and just draw out this Polonia and this Lincoln Village one. We'll go ahead, rename them again, just so it's kind of fresh in your minds. We'll save it, and then I'll actually go in and show you how to reuse these later on. So we're gonna go ahead and do the Polonia. So we're gonna use the polygon tool again. Clicking on my first spot, taking my finger off my mouse, dragging my mouse, clicking my next spot. Just keep clicking and taking my finger off as I go. And then when I'm done, double left click. So now over in my shapes, I've got Bayview and then polygon. And again, by hovering over them, I can see exactly what's what. So I'm gonna go ahead and rename my Polonia. Left click inside the shape, edit. Polonia, we'll make that one pink. And we'll do our last shape here, which is gonna be our Lincoln Village. So again, we're into polygon. Just clicking our way around. Click inside my shape. Do our edit. Yellow. So now we have all of our shape names over here. And I can go ahead and save this to my customer, and it's only going to send them properties that are within those specific locations that I've just drawn out for them. But I want to go ahead and start saving this file for later use. I can click in any of the shapes that I've drawn out. I'm just going to click inside of Bayview, left click. We're going to go to edit. And then we already did the edit shape, moving those little orange dots. Remove if I wanted to get rid of the shape altogether, or save to map overlay. I'm going to save to map overlay, and it's going to ask me, do I want to save this as a new overlay, or do I want to add this to an existing overlay? So let's say I already had a couple of shapes drawn out, but I wanted to add these into that file as well. I would add it to that existing overlay and select the name. So I'm going to do this as a test one. To Berlin. And you'll notice that under polygons, right now only Bayview is selected. That's because I clicked inside of the Bayview polygon in order to do my save. So if I wanted to make sure I'm saving Polonia and Lincoln Village as well, I'm just gonna go ahead, put little check boxes in there, click on save, overlay has been saved. So now I know that these shapes are gonna be available for me to use later on. So we're gonna go ahead and just grab a clean map by going to quick search. So in order to reuse these shapes, we've got the property types, and it says MLS number, address, or map overlay. I could type the map overlay information in here. However, I like to just click on browse, and it gives me all of my file names in this column. Anything in the right-hand column, those are going to be the different pieces of those overlays. So we did Keller Williams New Berlin. So when I click on that, you can see I've got my Bayview, my Lincoln Village, and my Polonia. If I just wanted one of them, I could literally just click on it, hit enter, and it's just going to add that to my criteria for me. If I wanted to add multiples, again, if you're a PC user, it's your control key. Hold it down, select the additional ones that you want. If you're a Mac user, it is your command key. So I've got all three pieces selected that I want. Go ahead and click on edit. And you'll see instead of saying shape, it actually gives us the file name, which was the KW New Berlin, and it gives us those pieces that we wanted in here. And from here, I can go ahead and add more in if I wanted to. Any questions on that?
That's cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool.
It's one of those features that a lot of people don't utilize because they feel it's hard to actually do. But once you get over the not overlapping your lines, you're good. All right, so these are a couple of my other features that I actually love about this. And then at the bottom right-hand corner here, there's the white circle with the red stick pen. This is the locate address. What I like about this is if you're doing a CMA, you can do a radius search and get nice and close to it. But you also can may come into a situation where someone may want to be within a certain distance of multiple locations. We'll see it a lot of times with physicians or nurses that work at multiple clinics and they want to be within certain distances. And you can kind of do your best guess, but actually by utilizing the stick pin, the locate address button, it's actually going to automatically do that for you. So I'm going to go ahead and use my office as my first address. So 11430 West North Avenue, Altosa, Wisconsin. And as long as you put in the municipality and the state, you do not need the zip code. So I'm going to go ahead and click on locate. And it's going to put that red stick pin right on top of our subject property for us. I'm going to scroll down just so we can actually see the subject property. Just I wanted to show you another little feature built in with this. So here's the property address. Let's say I want more information about this property. Earlier, we skipped over this blue circle with the white eye, the parcel information. If I click on that and then select my subject property that I've got on my map here. Okay, 2 circles. I was gonna say spinning wheel of death is coming back at me. All right, well, while it thinks, hopefully it's all it's doing is thinking. Any property in the system that has sold before, any property will bring it up, but if it has sold before, it's gonna give you the entire listing history for that property. So whether it's sold, it expired, currently active, it's gonna give us all that information and give us a direct link to that MLS sheet. It also is going to give you a direct link to the tax information, both through wire data as well as Monsoon.
How far back does it go?
So the system goes back through, I want to say it's 2002 was when we went from Maestro to Flex. So every once in a while, you'll find some random data that we're not quite sure where it came from, to be honest. But anything over like 2002, so about the last 20 years. Anyways, that should pop up.
I did.
Yeah, mine did.
Well, at least you guys can see it.
So you just-
I don't think Kelly did complete her cache.
And what, just hit the little, go to the property. Hit the button and then click on the property where the pin is. Yeah.
We are really like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to walk you through this next part. Okay, so there it goes. Let me just go back to getting that at my map. 0 west north. Avenue. Tosa, Wisconsin. So now that I have my stick pin on here, I can go ahead and do my radius search just by clicking on a radius right from the pop-up box. And let's say I close out the pop-up box and I want to actually go ahead and do a different radius. All I have to do is go back and click directly on my stick pin and it's going to bring that box back for me. So I click on radius search and I'm actually going to do 5 miles. And the reason for the 5 miles is we're actually going to go through and do that situation where someone wants to be within a certain distance of multiple locations.
But wait, you clicked on, you put 5 miles in there, then how did you get that circle?
I hit enter.
Enter.
Yeah, I did downstairs.
I thought I hit enter. Otherwise, right below, just create radius.
Oh, create radius.
That's what it is, create
Okay,
radius.
thank you, sorry.
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in my second subject property. So let's just pretend that both of these locations are different clinics or hospitals, whatever. So the other address I'm going to use is 6840 North 107th Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and click on my location. Then just like before, we do a radius search. I'm going to say 5 miles out and create radius. So now I've got my multiple radius searches here. I know anything in this top radius is going to work for this property. Anything in the bottom is going to work for this one here. But the only thing that's going to work for both is what's in this intersecting area right here. So if I go over to my left-hand side where we have our shapes, the default is within. So it's going to just automatically show us whatever is directly within the area that we have covered. But let's say I don't want within. I want to be able to either exclude areas or I want to see what intersects. If I click on the within, it changes it to intersection. So it dropped down to 206, and you'll see it got rid of everything in this top area, everything in this bottom area, except what's in that overlapping area. So I know that any of these subject properties here are going to be within 5 miles of both locations. All right, any questions on that? Okay, we have about 16 minutes left. So I will open the floor up to whatever.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you have a subscription, I have like a map set up like a weird shape, whatever. Can I edit that now?
Yes.
Okay, how do you do that? I can't figure it out.
Okay, so so what we're going to do is go to our contact management. We're going to go to our contact. At the very top here, search/subscriptions. And then all the searches you have for them should be listed on the left-hand side. So we're going to go ahead and select the one that we want and click on edit, edit search. Obviously, I don't have a shape drawn in here, but you should be able to left click in it and then do the make that change like we did with the Bayview,
Bayview.
that's the word.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, but then when you're done, just make sure you say it. All right, what other questions do we have?
I clicked on the address. When you went back and you put your business address in,
Mhm.
and then you were gonna click on it, but it kept spinning.
Yes.
Okay, so I did that on my home property and it came up. There's directions, save, nearby, send to phone, or share.
Let's take a look at where you're at.
Yeah, if you go to an address, and I just clicked that aside and this came up.
Yeah, you're outside of Flex.
Oh, that one outside. That's okay.
Yep.
I just saw it was on the map.
Yeah, you're in Google Maps. Yeah, so our maps are Google Maps. So somehow you clicked on something and actually went to the full.
Oh,
Google
see,
Maps.
I went, yeah, so I was here, clicked here. So how do you get the information you were talking about before on that?
Yep,
address?
so the blue circle with the white eye.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, and that now left single left. There you
Okay. I forgot the blue circle with the eye.
Yeah.
I used to bring up this whole thing. The whole line.
go. Okay, so that's gonna be, yeah, your report.
Yeah, but I read it before.
That is a setting in your, it is a default setting, so we'll take a look at that. Because so nowadays,
What is the monsoon?
monsoon just takes you to the monsoon taxes.
Mine's-
All right, David, we also have any questions? Yeah.
So when doing a quick search, and we're looking for not a contingent, can we like?
Dang it.
Right, no, it doesn't.
Okay.
We
Yeah, undo what I
asked them for it, they are aware of it, they're supposed to be looking.
Okay.
Because right now on the app, you can either look at just properties that are active with offer, or you can look at properties that are active and active with offer. It doesn't give you the option of saying, I want to get rid of those active with offer properties. So, yeah, they are aware, it's just somewhere in the pile, I don't know where.
I
Yeah.
have a question we didn't talk about, but before you came in, we were like learning how to customize our dashboard. So I wanted to know, I don't know if that was yours or Kelly's when I looked up, but somebody had like a graph on their dashboard, but I don't know where is that graph? How do I get that? That inventory for county, what is that?
Yep, so basically, this is showing us the current actives, new listings and sold listings within this area. So if I go to customize and I do add gadgets, I always go to all,
Right.
and then that's gonna probably be the absorption rate.
Oh, all, okay.
Yep, so I just added one. And then when I go back, okay, it only wasn't the absorption rate, inventory.
Inventory is in there. Let's see.
Oh, inventory is in.
I can't find that one.
Oh, yep, inventory. Yeah, I always click on the all instead of going through like subcategory by subcategory. And then, yeah, add another. And when I go back to my main screen,
Gadgets. Oh.
there's my inventory. And then to set it up, I'm just gonna use my 3 drop downs. Settings, and then from here, I can select my location. So I could do county, I could do a single municipality, but it only allows you to do 1 per, but I can add as many of these as I wanted to on. And I know people that have done dashboards that are literally like, what'll just be absorption rates. One of the girls at work, she loves to bake. So she's got one that's nothing but RSS feeds on different recipes that she can send every day to her. So she has like a whole list that she's kind of goes through. All right, any other questions? All right, well, if you guys need to get a hold of me, I'm gonna leave some cards in the back. Feel free to reach out directly to me. Email is the easiest way to get a hold of me. We are there to help you guys, so if we can be of help, let us know.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
You're welcome.
Very helpful.
So I've been saying this forever, what would be helpful for us? If when we do a search, let's use New Berlin for an example. If we're gonna go on a listing appointment in New Berlin, and we're trying to get the seller to be priced correctly, and let's say we think it should be $249.9, and they want it to be $257. And I know in my heart of hearts that there's gonna be more buyers cut off at $250 with auto searches for all the agents out there. It would be really helpful if that information was made available to us agents, that we could see out of all the agents in the area, how many buyers are set up to 250 or whatever number, and how many are set up to 275, so we could see the drop off and we could present that to the sellers that if you go 257, you're gonna lose 75 buyers that are currently set up with agents out there looking for properties. I've done this on the email sending, and I've talked to everybody about it, but it would be so helpful. You're up to 300. How many people in Berlin are looking right now with agents up to 300 as opposed to 301?
You just have the value range.
Reverse prospect?
Yeah. No, they don't have that.
Well, this is before he even,
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, he's talking about before he goes on this appointment to have that data.
We could know that. It would be so helpful, even over 500, whatever number, over 500.
I can put it out there for you guys, but I make no guarantees.
I'll give you $1 if you can do
Woo! Big spender over here.
it. Well, we'll make a collection. Will you each give him $1?
Yeah, I'm not going about 75 cents. That's all I got in my pocket.
I'll get you a hamburger on Tuesday.
I was gonna say, we're getting there. All right, so
Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just do it all there. If I get- I just tried to get a few questions.
There must be a number.